All right, this is how you set up your drafting paper. First off, before you start to draft anything, make sure that your parallel bar is straight, and you would do that in the same way I showed you before, the same method that I showed before. And of course, as you watch these videos, just note that sometimes the camera might be tilted one way or the other, causing a little bit of distortion. And of course, in this case, you really can't see the top of my page. The camera cuts off about right here. I still got another 2 inches up there, but it should be adequate enough to demonstrate what it is that we need to do. Now we're going to start drafting a foundation. However, before we do that, we must set our paper up. We have to set up our borders and our label and everything else. So first thing I'll do, of course, is tape my paper down. Always taped down, never just loose. Okay, so now the paper is taped down. It is perfectly square. My parallel bar is square. All right, and the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set up a border around here. I don't need to show you me drawing the entire border, so I'm gonna show you how to set it up, and then I'll probably pause and come back and show you the finished product. First thing you'll need is your scale, and we're gonna use the regular ruler side. Right here it says 16. That's a regular everyday ruler. Our borders and our labels and everything else that we put on here are not set up by scale. They're set up by regular everyday inches. So what I'm going to do is I need a 1/4 inch border all the way around this page. So I'm just going to place the ruler, and you could probably barely see that. Let me see if I can. Let's see. Well, you can see it. And I'll show you down at the bottom also. So I'll line it up at 1/4 inch here, and then I mark the 0, which is 1/4 inch inside of the edge of the paper. All right, now on the bottom I do the same thing, except for this time I'll probably put the edge of the paper on 0, and it just depends on the way that you're doing it or what have you. But putting that on 0 and then marking 1/4 inch, and I go all the way around the sheet of paper and I do that. And to draw those lines, I'm just going to use, for my horizontal lines, I am going to use the parallel bar, and I'm going to set the parallel bar right on that mark and draw horizontally across my paper. And you can probably barely see that. Well, no, you can see it, and there is the border. Make sure your border lines are, dark. Okay, we want to put a little bit of pressure, maybe go over the line a couple of times and make it dark and definitely evident. Now for the vertical lines, or vertical as you're looking at the paper, you're going to do the same thing, but you're going to do it with one of these. Okay, so what we do here is we just line the triangle up and line it up right on that dot that we made 1/4 inch in from the edge of the paper, and then we just draw up. Okay, make sure it's a pretty dark line. And that, what you'll do is you'll repeat that process on this side and this side. And then when I come back to do the rest of the video, I'll show you how to set up your title block right here. All right, now we're back at our task. I have a border going all the way around my paper. Of course, you don't see the top line because, well, you just can't see it. The camera just does not fit it in there. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to make the title block right here. And you're going to make your title block exactly the same way I'm making mine. So make sure you pay very close attention to the dimensions that I'm using. And again, we're going to use the standard side of the ruler. All right, and we're going to measure 2 inches in. So basically, I'm putting the line here on 2. Now, this is my border line. So 2 inches in from my border line. So I measure out to the 0, and I put a mark. Then I'm going to put me a vertical line. right along that. Okay, so that is going to make my title block area. And then there's a section where your name and date and the title of the job, or in this case, the assignment, is going to go right here. And also your scale. You got to make sure you list your scale there as well. So how do I do that? Well, I measure 3 inches up from here. Okay, and of course I'm using the ruler backwards, which is okay. You can see me here putting the 12-inch mark right on that line. And then I'm just going to count in 1, 2, 3 inches and put a mark. Okay, of course you can use the regular side as well. I typically just kind of use what side ends up landing there, I guess. And you'll get used to that. Okay, so now I'm going to draw that line across, or this line across that mark. Now I need to divide this space up. That was a 2-inch space, right? Is that what I drew? Yeah, 2-inch space. Every 1/2 inch, and that should give us 4 spaces in here. So no, not every 1/2 inch. Yeah, every 1/2 inch. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so mark here, and mark there. I'll have 4 spaces. Okay, just put those lines down right through that mark. Make them heavy. Okay, now you got 4 spaces. We'll come back to putting our name and stuff like that in there. But for now, just go ahead and put this down here. When you get a chance to, put your name and stuff in here, because I'm going to show you some things about lettering a little bit further on where you'll be able to do that. For now, you might want to put your name on the back or something like that, just in case you lose it or misplace it. Someone finds it, they'll know who it belongs to. Okay, so this is paper setup. This is what your paper should look like. 12 by 18, 1/4 inch border all the way around, 2-inch title block section, and then of course for your data, your information, your identification information, 3 inches, okay, with 1/2 inch separation between cells, or from cell to cell. Okay. All right, so the next video I'll show you a little bit about the foundation.